Welcome all sports fans, YouTubers, Facebookers, all social media across the nation. Uneducated Network on YouTube presents Uneducated Sports Talk. I'm your host, Clayton, and before we get down to our baseball news and a little bit of college football news, please, if you haven't, like and subscribe to Uneducated Network to where you see my show, Uneducated Sports Talk, and many other shows on our channel. We are more than just a YouTube channel. We are a way of life. That being said, let's get on to MLB news. If you haven't heard, a couple days ago, Andrew Mccutchen was just traded from the Pittsburgh Pirates to the San Francisco Giants. And basically, the San Francisco Giants, who lost a ton of games last year, they're trying to revamp, but they're revamping by trying to get sparks out of old guys. We all know that they got Evan Longoria a couple weeks ago from the Tampa Bay Rays, and now they got your boy Andrew Mccutchen. So they're trying to get these guys to rekindle their magic, because these at one point were top guys in the Major League Baseball at their positions. Andrew Mccutchen was one of the best, if not the best center fielder at one time in his career. And Evan Longoria is one of the best third basemen for a long time. And they both were the leaders of their respective teams. And the Giants are trying to get that oomph out of these guys. Now, they're going with the free agency a different way. The Giants are accustomed to winning. We're talking San Francisco baseball guys. They're accustomed to winning every single year, or being in the potential first place, or somewhere in that, NLCS or even the World Series. They're just used to being in that area every year. This year was just totally different. Their luck kind of ran out. Their age got up there. You know that eventually it's going to come crumbling down. We didn't know it was going to crumble down that hard for these guys. But nonetheless, they're trying to revamp. They get Evan Longoria. They go ahead and get Andrew Mccutchen. So now they're trying to get the sparks out of these guys who kind of had down years the last couple years for their respective franchises. So that's one thing I do like about them. When the Giants are accustomed to winning, they want winners on their team. And these guys know how to win. They know how to play. Yes, Longoria, who has been with the Rays all his career, and you know how that franchise is. They had that one good year, I think in 07, where they went to the World Series against the Phillies. Outside of that, I mean, Tampa Bay hasn't really done much. And Pittsburgh, yes, I call that Mr. Wild Card. They go to the wild card round just about every single year except for last year, but they don't produce outside of that round. So besides that, those guys know how to play. They are good. And it's not like they've been bad for so long. They just became sort of average maybe a year or two. So if they can get a spark out of those two guys in their lineup, the Giants can come back to potentially being something of value to Major League Baseball. Now, Garrett Cole's traded from Pirates as well. So the Pirates have been just doing all kind of trading. He goes to the Astros. They already have they got in Justin Verlander. They also have a bunch of good pitchers on that team. So Garrett Cole's going to fit right on in. He had a 4.26 ERA this year, one of his worst campaigns. But outside of that, he's been a baller. So if he gets that 2 years ago kind of form back for this year, Astros could look to repeat in a heartbeat, because these guys are young, talented, and they are good. So I mean, you got Dallas Keuchel, you got Justin Verlander, and you got McCullums, and now you have Garrett Cole as your starting pitcher. So they have a very deep starting rotation. And look, that's what the Astros really needed last year, and they still won the World Series. They needed some pitching outside of their top two or top three guys, or 2.5 if you think McCullums is a really good starting pitcher. Outside of that 2.5 tandem, they had nobody else. And we saw they gave up leads, they gave up home runs and hits against the Dodgers and a lot of the Yankees as well. But their hitting is so great. Their lineup is just so deep and dominant and young, fast, and just scary good, that it made up for the lack of pitching that they had outside of Dallas Keuchel and Justin Verlander. Now, Dallas Keuchel did struggle in the playoffs a little bit, but you know that Justin Verlander had his back. And of course, that starting lineup. So Garrett Cole leaves and goes to Houston, and the Pittsburgh Pirates are just basically saying, you know what, we're trying to revamp. You get rid of Cole, you got rid of Mccutchen, who was your face of the franchise for over a decade, well, about 10 years, I'd say that, maybe less, maybe 8 years. I mean, he was on the cover of MLB The Show, I believe, 14 or 15. So it just tells you how good Mccutchen really is. I think it all went downhill when he cut his dreads off, in my opinion. But that's just me. Keep the dreads, young fella. But he's 35 now. 35. If I look at Mccutchen, I'm like, 35 for real? He's been in the league that long? He's 35 years old. So, they're trying to get him and get a spark out of him. And I think that in my opinion, he will come up big for the Giants. Record-wise, I'm not sure, but him personally, for himself, the stats, I think he'll have a good year this year, a good bounce back year. Also, let's talk about this draft, this mock 1.0 draft that just came out today. I want to talk strictly to quarterbacks because all last year you were saying, oh man, this is a bad quarterback class. And indeed it kind of was. Outside of Deshaun Watson, who was just, before his ACL, could have been MVP, the way he was playing. So outside of him, the draft class was kind of poor. You talk about Mitch Trubisky, you talk about Deshaun Kaiser, those guys, they didn't really shine. Well, now everyone's saying, well, that class sucks. But wait till you see next year's class. Next year's class is here now. So let's talk about those guys that Mel Kiper and Tom McShay have been talking about pretty much. Let's go ahead with the obvious choices at first. We got Josh Rosen from UCLA and Sam Darnold from USC. Those are the two guys that have been talked about all year. Going into the 2017 college football season, I said Sam Darnold was the guy. He was big, he was physical, he had the arm talent. A year later, you find out I'm not a big fan of Sam Darnold. And I was a huge fan last year. I was like, this guy's got it. I don't know what happened from last year to this year. I don't know if it's the quality of opponent or maybe the tape study you get now from basically a full season. He played about 10 games, I believe, last year, something like that. So you got to study on him. Well, he is a turnover magnet. And, I'm not too big on turnovers if it's not your fault. You gotta realize Deshaun Watson had a lot of turnovers last year for Clemson, but a lot of those came off of tip passes, miscatches, ball got hit in the air and so on. Fluke stuff that happens all the time. Sam Darnold, I look at his stats, I look at his tape, and a lot of that is not going on. It's just a lot of bad passes, a lot of getting pressured. He's loose with the football. He can't hold on to the ball. Deshaun Watson didn't really fumble the football a lot. He didn't. It's not interceptions. Sam Darnold is just not with his ball placement, and his ball security is bad this year. And he said himself, he said in public to a teammate, and it came out into the public, that he was, he felt kind of scared. After I believe it was the third or fourth game, he was nervous. He was like, I don't know. And I don't like when someone says that. You got to have confidence in yourself, because in the NFL, they will not give you any mercy. I promise you that. But out of those two guys, Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold, I'm going with Josh Rosen because I think he's just more poised as a quarterback. And when they face head-to-head, he looked like the better quarterback by a long shot. He had a great freshman year, and then the sophomore year he had injuries and he kind of slumped a little bit. This year he had similar numbers to his freshman year, and he got a concussion, I believe, the last game of the season, so he did not play in the bowl game. Kudos to UCLA. They wanted to keep him fresh, keep him ready for the NFL. Josh Rosen came out and did his thing, so I would pick him over Sam Darnold any day right now. It just looks like he's the better quarterback prospect. Sam Darnold, like, he's the bigger dude, and you might, you give him time, but yeah, you're big, but I don't know. It was tough to actually tell who I want out of those two guys. And then here's the wild card, Josh Allen from Wyoming. I don't know what they see in him, but hey, the same thing like Mitch Trubisky when they said, hey, Mitch Trubisky could be the number one quarterback. Like, whoa. Where did this guy come from? Mitch played 1 year for North Carolina, and all of a sudden he's just this darling quarterback. No offense, Mitch, you're not really good. And I don't know Mel Kiper and Tom McShay seen in these guys and what they see in Josh Allen. The man, that he didn't have 2,000 yards passing at all, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and playing in the whatever division Wyoming plays in. I forgot. It's not a good division though. Maybe it's Conference USA. I can't remember. Or Mountain Conference, whatever that's called. But still, I'm not a big fan of Josh Allen. I got to see more out of it. I heard he had a good year last year, and he comes into this year, and he has a subpar year. He doesn't even throw over 60%. I think he threw 56% for the season. I'm not liking that. I don't know what you guys see. If he throws 56% in college in that division, in that conference, can you imagine him going to the NFL? Yes, they're saying that, but look at the ceiling. In the NFL, it is what have you done for me lately kind of league. I'm sorry, you can't unless you sit him behind a Drew Brees, a Tom Brady, a Aaron Rodgers, someone he can sit and be patient for 3 years. Then yeah, but if you throw him into a situation like the Bears did with Mr. Trubisky and put him as a starting quarterback after the first 3 or 4 games, you're going to have problems. I promise you that. Josh Allen, not a big fan of him, but we'll see. Time will tell. But they're going with the ceiling. Then maybe so, but I'm not a ceiling kind of guy. You gotta show me what you can do now. It's just the way the NFL is very impatient unless you're backing up a great quarterback already or a decent quarterback. But the guy I'm looking forward to, who I believe who should be the first overall, the first quarterback taken, not first overall pick, but first quarterback taken, Baker Mayfield. Yes, I said it. Oh, I'm sorry. I said the same thing last year about Deshaun Watson. I said Deshaun Watson should be the first overall pick. I said the first overall pick. I'm not putting it on on Baker Mayfield. I am saying that Saquon Barkley should be the number 1 overall pick, in my opinion. But that's a different day. But Baker Mayfield, I think, has everything. He's a winner. He's competitive. Everyone is talking about his immaturity. No, look. What he does, and don't compare him to Johnny Manziel. Please do not do that, because it's 2 different things. Johnny Manziel was immature and a playboy and wanted to be this fancy guy and wanted to be better than what he thought he was. Baker Mayfield has better talent, period. Better talent, better arm, better decision making, and more spirit than Johnny Manziel, period. 2, he wins. He's a winner. I like winners. I like guys who make plays out of nothing. Everyone's trying to compare him to Russell Wilson. Stop. He's not Russell Wilson. Everyone's trying to compare him to Drew Brees. Stop. He's not Drew Brees. What he can be is the next Baker Mayfield, someone who is just that freaking good, who can run not as great as a Russell Wilson, but almost there. And someone who can pass, not as great as Drew Brees, but almost there. You get those 2 combinations, you got something going on. This guy just makes plays, and he has that it factor. Against the SEC team, against Georgia, when the vaunted defense of the SEC, they put up 48 points on them. And I believe maybe 40 was on offense. But Baker Mayfield had a big part of that. So it shows you against great competition, because it doesn't get any better than the SEC. Like against that Georgia team, it put up a lot of points, put up a lot of yards on that team. So I'm just saying, Baker Mayfield has that it factor. I'm going with him. If you're a smart NFL and you're a quarterback, the Jets, you already know that the first 4 or 5 picks are gonna be real dumb. They're going with Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold and Josh Allen. You know that. If you're the Jets at 5, Jets at 6. If you are if you're the Redskins, if you're anybody, the Broncos, look, you gotta go ahead and get Baker Mayfield. He is a must fit for me. If you pass him up, you will regret it, just like everyone's going to regret not getting Deshaun Watson last year. I promise you that. That being said, that is our show for today. Please like and subscribe to Uneducated Network, where you see my show, Uneducated Sports Talk, and many other shows on the channel. Comment down below, who is the best quarterback of this 2018 draft class? Who would you pick number 1 overall, or who will be your first quarterback taken? I want to hear your comments down below. And we'll talk about the NBA tomorrow. LeBron James is very close to 30,000 career points. Let's show, is that a big deal or not? Come find out next episode. And, it is what it is. It's your boy Carlos Clayton. This is Uneducated Network, presenting Uneducated Sports Talk, and all sports fans, you know what time it is. Stay smart, stay uneducated. Peace.